Just getting our shoes on. Fast, you know.
What are you doing?
We're ready, professionals. Well, this is different, isn't it?
We
don't usually start a video in a lab, but this is an interesting one. So today we're back at Aquafleur. We were here like 9 months ago.
Yeah, January time. So yeah, it must have been 9 months ago-ish.
Yeah, they invited me to come look at the plants. I was very impressed, and since then I've been using them. And you've seen a lot of me in my build videos, always saying about Aquafleur how great they are, not sponsor anything. And then finally, they decided to sponsor a video. So we're here, going from the start process with the Easy Grow, which is their range of like, you know, the cup ones in the gel, and you take them out and they start small and then they go amazing and big. So we're going to take you in a step-by-step process from very start to finish with Mohammed, who is the laboratory manager. Is that the
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, that's the right term. We started a lab approximately 2 years ago, so yeah, nice.
And last time we come, it was in sort of like a, it was nothing like now. There's way more. You'll see in a minute. But Mohammed's going to take you through the process. We're starting here in the sterilisation area. This is where we come with original mother plants. They're cleaned up, and then we take those and grow more.
Exactly, we grow them exponentially out until to supply all of you guys with beautiful plants, right?
Yes.
So the first stage for the people that don't know anything about tissue culture is the sterilization of the explants, the mother plants. We need to make sure the plants are fully cleaned up, so we get rid of any fungi, parasites, any debris that could contaminate eventual media. But obviously we don't want to clean them up too much, because otherwise the plants will die.
Okay. Makes sense, makes sense.
And they get to... Slow?
Something just got angry at us.
And they get to have a fun ride as well.
Yeah,
it looks great, doesn't it?
It
doesn't look great.
So these have come from the greenhouse area.
Yeah.
Grown out plants. And all you guys will do is take a tiny little snippet of that that's completely clean and just multiply it.
Exactly. So we sterilize it in a disinfection solution, and after that we just multiply it and it grows out exponentially.
Okay. What is the next step then after that? So after the sterilisation process, we then move on to taking a small part of that plant and adding it into some pots like you can see down here. So what you're seeing here is different phases of development. There's actually a stage before this, is that right, Mohammed?
Exactly. So this is like the second stage. We start out with the first stage, the initiation stage, with an extremely small explant. We call it a meristem.
Yep.
And after that, this is the second stage, and you can see the differences in each individual stage.
So initially there's this gel, and there's one tiny piece of this in the centre, yeah?
Exactly.
That grows out into a full pot. Then that's divided into, say, how many of these do you reckon? 8 pots of these?
Four individual pots.
4 individual pots of these with little plugs all in that eventually grow all the way to this.
In 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes, that's well
Just
good.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Imagine if we could do that. And then this one is then divided up into, how many plugs would you put in a pot like this?
Just like approximately 2 explants.
Okay.
So we can make from one bigger cup, we can make approximately 12 individual smaller cups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then the process of 3 weeks again,
Exactly.
ready for sale.
Ready for retail, exactly.
Okay, so the total process of time from one tiny little piece to however many pots you get out of the whole batch is?
So like the first stage is a bit longer, 4 weeks, 3 weeks. So that counts up into 7. And then the last stage is like also 3 weeks. So a total of 10 weeks.
10 weeks. Yeah.
He's way better at math than we are. Way better. That was real quick.
But that's just, that sounds like a lot for that, but imagine if you're doing that with like 20 of those initial ones.
Exactly.
That's huge numbers.
Yeah, it's just a multiplication factor of 4 and it grows out exponentially. So before you know it, you can fill out the whole lab with those beautiful carpeting plants.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's obviously, this is Monte Carlo, but there is a full range as well.
Plants as well.
Because that's the one.
That's the one. Obviously it's not sterile anymore because you open the lid.
Yes.
But
Ordinarily,
it's just for the-
my bad for opening the lid. Matt did tell me off the second I did that. But it's going to be mine anyway, so
Exactly.
it's all good. Talk me through it, Mohammed.
So we remove the bigger plant, so
Yep.
the mother plant.
Oh, look at that gel.
It's beautiful, right? We take out a pincet and a scalpel. Just a tiny bit of explant, not too much. Just like this.
Oh, so you don't want the gel?
No, we just want the top of the plant.
Okay.
So we place it in. A bit more. Just for good luck, right, Matt?
Yes, always
No,
a bit more for good luck.
Always.
Exactly.
More is more.
Just like that. We close out the lid. And believe it or not, that's
That.
it.
That will turn into...
Look at that.
That's going to turn into that in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm hoping to take some of these home, Mohammed. Do I need to work a shift or something?
Well, Mark, obviously you have to work to get the plants. Nothing
That's right.
nothing comes for free, guys. So your shift starts at 12 o'clock until 6 o'clock. today.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Okay, so you take the pincer and you just rip it off?
No.
No.
You
I need that open, don't I?
exactly, open that one.
This one first.
Grab a small.
You are
Just cut
slow at this.
Exactly.
Hey, look at that, let's see.
Whoa, he's a talent.
There we go.
Beautiful done.
He's really a talent.
And now I just need to do that like 10,000 more times.
Well, yeah, you need to fill up like this, look.
Yeah.
That's not even
That's not even
any
half of it.
portion of it.
Right then,
Okay, well,
get
I better
cracking.
crack on.
Time lapse of 6 hours of you cutting plants.
A bit more for luck.
So we need 600 of those grams.
Yeah.
And after that we have some.
And I'll get one for free, yeah?
Yeah.
We
We'll
will
have
think
two.
about it. Maybe two. Maybe
yes.
No lunch break.
two. Exactly.
You're only doing 6 hours.
That's
Come
fair.
on, Mark.
Okay. So we are now in the grow area. Look at all of these. And this isn't even, they were stocked even more. Normally all of this goes out, but Mohammed kept a load so that we've got something cool to show on camera. But there is every single plant here. Have you got that UG again? Show me that UG.
So guys, we normally never open them.
Yeah, you're opening it for me and I'll take that one. Look at that. It looks like cushion moss, doesn't it?
It's an amazing plant, isn't it?
Have you got the big one, Mohammed?
Oh yeah, with the root system, or not the root system, is it? It's
Is it roots? It kind of is roots,
Yeah,
isn't
it is in a way. The underneath of it looks amazing. Look at that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I want that one. I want that one.
This one.
I'm actually going to do an experiment where I just want to place that wrapped around pebbles and just dot them at different areas in the tank and just see how they do. You know, how much light does it need? Does it need some nutrients underneath it as well?
Lava
You know,
rock might be quite a good and interesting one
Yeah,
to do.
try it on lava wood.
Yeah,
Try it on bogwood as well, because
Yeah.
that might be a nutrient source
Yeah, yeah.
in itself for the roots. They're carnivorous apparently, so they do require a food source, but that's like microfauna. And my tanks have plenty of microfauna because I don't do anything to them.
Great. But they're completely harmless for shrimps and stuff like that.
Okay.
So bigger animals, they're just
Yeah,
fine.
it's one I've not used enough, and I really want to experiment with it more because it just looks so gorgeous.
It's amazing. It's like a cushion, right?
Yeah.
You want to lay on top of it.
Yeah, or a perfectly cut lawn,
Exactly.
a golf course. So Mohammed, I'm going to go around now and pick out a few things I would like for my scape.
Okay.
Will you better box them up and send them to my studio?
Yeah.
Have I worked hard enough?
Well, obviously I need to discuss that with the financial guy. I'm thinking about maybe, what do you think, 25%, something like that?
Yeah, maybe a couple of free ones and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't work very hard.
We will figure that one out.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay, I look forward to receiving whatever I receive.
Exactly.
Cheers. Oh no, you're doing it. Oh, you're high-fiving. Do it again. Do it again. Say exactly,
Exactly.
and then hit it, but all in one.
Exactly.
It's a week later. Our plants have arrived. These are the exact ones we picked out, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Probably not.
But they're the species we wanted. We've got quite a few. I'm probably not going to use all of them, but I'm going to use enough. We're going to be building it in this tank here. It's 60. Let me bring you over. That's probably easier. So we've got a 60 centimetre tank and a superfish scaper light, which I absolutely love. Grows every plant. Would you say they're the best value for money light?
Yeah, I'd say so. There's not many others on the market that can grow plants like they do for the price.
No, I don't think so either. And I actually like them more than the really expensive ones, but that's just my opinion. Some people like a certain rendition of light. I like that this gives like a white light. It's just white LEDs as well, so it's like 2,600 Kelvin, and I just think it's the best. I'm going to go for a rocky scape with like every stem and every plant.
Nice.
I don't know, it might look a little bit like a rainbow.
Like a rainbow, I like it. Yeah,
But it's, you know, if it does, that would be a cool look
yeah,
as
that would
well.
be wicked. Yeah,
Different.
Lots of colour.
Yeah. First of all, I want to create some height though, so I'm just going to put in some gravel and things like that. Then I'll put in some Nutri-Base, then I'll put in some aqua soil, then we can get scaping. Oh, and if you're wondering about the stand, I made this myself a long time ago. It doesn't look lovely. Well, it does on the surface. Underneath it's a little bit shoddy, but it's absolutely solid, and there's no fear of the glass breaking because there's no mat under it. Don't worry, I've used it for a long time and it's always been good. So what I'm putting in here is just some media bags with gravel in, and that's purely to create height. It'll create like beneficial bacteria zones as well. But it's cheap, a cheap way of creating height, otherwise you've got to use more aqua soil, which you don't actually need. So for the initial nutrients in this tank, I'm going to be going with Nutri-Base. I've used it absolutely tons on previous projects now. It works so good. It has like dormant bacteria, which are self-cleaning. Fantastic for plant growth. It's got like little bits of, I don't know, like active soil, and I'm just saying words now. I don't know, it just works really good. So I'm going to go with about half a bag for this size tank. Should be plenty, front and back, because we're going to have plants everywhere. So that just makes sense. A little bit more. Just spread that about a bit more evenly. Right, that's perfect. And on top of that, I'm going to be adding the Flora Base Pro from Colombo, and I've laid it down because I've accidentally sliced it up and that's about to go everywhere. So probably going to need the whole bag, but I'll save a little bit back to fill in some areas behind rocks and that later on. So we're banked right up. This side is up a little bit, the other side's up even more. I need to obviously make space for the inlet of the filter there, otherwise it's going to get clogged up, isn't it? It might not stay anything like that by the time the rocks are in, but we can start with that and put in rocks. It's a way of locking it in place. And I've got some really, really cool rocks that I got from Riverwood. So yeah, over here in the hardscape area, I've got these here. Look, I've never used these before. They're all similar sort of tones, but different shapes and sizes. Well, they're not different shapes, but they're all different sizes. Matthew, I know you're busy, but would you like to scape this bit with me?
I suppose I could.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a bit more fun, isn't it?
I'm just looking for shrimp.
Oh, are you?
No, I don't like it. It looks awful.
Well, hang on, no.
It's rubbish.
We've not even started yet.
What rocks are you going for?
The roundies.
Oh, the new ones.
Okay, we've got some rocks. I'm just going to put them in, and then we can move it. Look at the contrast.
Done. I like that.
Done. Well, we've got a big one. So yeah, obviously we want plenty of room for planting. So we don't want a huge amount.
You've got a lot of stems as well, so it would be nice to have that sort of full effect.
I like that already, Matt, just a little bit more angle.
Yeah, it looks nice, doesn't it?
I quite like that right where it is. Just want it to lock in. There we go. Oh, Jiminy
Oh, you
Cricket.
done that as well, didn't you? I heard you knock the light unit off. You need a front one, that. Oh,
Let me have that big one.
there you go. And this little one, just there.
It needs to be some kind of iwagumi, but not too much, so I don't want to overthink it, as
one
always.
more.
Oh yeah. No, that looks like a bird's nest of eggs.
It does look like.
Might not need that one.
No,
That
you
looks a
need
bit-
to use it. You can't leave one on the shelf on his own, the poor lad. He'll be like, all my friends got used in the scape.
Right, go back and get your shrimp.
No, I'm not seeing it. I think you need to use that last one. He's going to be well disappointed.
I'm trying to keep it simple so that anyone else who wants to recreate something like this with rounded rocks can.
And that extra pebble just means it's too complicated.
I'm going to use this extra pebble. I'm just trying to think where. It might be better off in here. No, see, because it's taken away height. It's almost like if I wanted to use this one, I'd need more to be able to use it.
It is a bit of a tricky one, isn't it? I think you need to bring him down in here. I think he needs to come into this front section.
Yeah, that could work. But I also now feel like we need more up there.
No, because once you've got the stems back there...
That's true.
That's going to be full of stem, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to have a fiddle.
Oh.
I mean, play around with the rocks. That'll do, donkey.
That's
That'll
nice,
do.
isn't it? And they go black, don't they?
Oh yeah,
Those
when they're wet,
rocks.
they do go a lot better. Not better, but darker. There we go, that's way darker. Oh, I messed it up. We were kind of moving stuff around and that, and then we thought, how many times can you move stuff like it's rounded?
Yeah, that's it. I think it's very simple. Plop, 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 plop. Plants around it, done.
It's going to look amazing with all the plants regardless, so I didn't want to overcomplicate it, just a pile of stones in the thing. I'm making excuses for not being able to do a better scape, if I'm honest, but I literally think that put plants in, they're going to grow in, it's just going to look great anyway. Maybe we've got too much in the middle. That's my only possible criticism. Rather than a couple of pockets of those, should we keep fiddling?
No, I think you're overthinking it.
Okay. Yeah, it'll look cool. It'll look cool regardless. We've
The
got
amount
like
of
foreground
stems
plants.
we've got going in that back section,
Yeah.
that's going to fill that back area. You're going to have this area full of the creeping plants, and then you'll just have those pops of rock coming through the plants.
If you went to like a proper aquascaping channel, they'd be like, nah, that's not good. But for you guys that want to be able to put some rocks in a tank with some soil and some plants, once it's grown in, which we will see in this video, it's going to look so good. So Matt has organised all the plants for me. I'm really, really intrigued to see how well this UG does. Do we plant it, or should I plant some and then just put some on rock and just see if it grows?
I would try a few different ways, yeah. And we're covering all bases then, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah. Right, let's get prepping. We've got loads. I'll put a full list at the bottom of the plants that we've used because I'm not going to go through all of them now, but we've got some awesome H-Ra here, which I'm looking forward to growing up. That's definitely going to be a feature in the back, I think.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Hairgrass, glossostigma as well for the foreground. Booty. Oh, look at these plants we've got going on. So Matt's concentrating on all the stems. Look at the root systems on these. Like, we're already going to win, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, like the stems, like that, each row was one pot.
Really?
So, what, you know, in a normal pot you get, what, 9 stems, 10 stems? There's like probably 30, 40.
That is good. I mean, obviously they're not tall like usual, but they're going to convert to underwater a lot faster and just kick off straight away, aren't they?
Yeah, they do convert so well.
And then I've been working on the foreground plants. So we've got all this hairgrass here, which looks so vibrant and green.
Looks like you're making a model train set.
But one thing I am loving is the UG. Look at it. It looks like a troll's haircut. But I can't bring myself to break this apart to plant it. So I'm just going to try and place it on something like a rock with a tiny little patch of glue. Because that is dense. That's all together as one. I can't break it up, Matt.
It would look a bit weird as well because you're going to have a really flat edge.
Don't you dare break it. I'd cry if you break that.
Or it just teases apart, look. Teases.
No, don't tease it. And then there's glossostigma behind it as well. I'm going to put them on rocks, little pebbles. Now, I don't know if that will actually work. Oh,
Sorry.
But we'll find out. I mean, we're off to America in a few days. So when we come back, hopefully it's all still good. Right, I'm done with prepping plants, Matt. I'm getting planting.
It's all right, I'll keep going.
You're nearly done, aren't you?
Yeah, I am finished.
Okay.
It's one set, I think.
So I've attached the UG to these rocks with a little bit of glue. So that should be good. I don't want to put all my eggs in 3 baskets though, so I'm going to plant at least one of them just so we've got like a difference to see if it does or doesn't work. But yeah, time to get planting. Foreground first. There we go. That was a pretty intense planting session.
That was, yes.
Yeah, it's not as impactful as when you get potted plants, but
I don't know, it looks good though.
it looks good. It looks tidy. But basically, all there's left to do now is just fill the thing up and get the filter started.
Should I spray?
Yeah, give it a spray down. You might notice there, all of my soil is basically dry when I plant. That's just how I like to do it. I just find it grips the plant a lot better. But now it's all dry. So now we're going to fill this up very, very slowly and carefully because otherwise it's just going to go absolutely everywhere. It shouldn't kind of fall down either. Like sometimes soil can come forwards, but all the plants being planted have kind of locked it all, well, I'm hoping, in place anyway. But yeah, nice slow fill up now. So that's the tank filled up, or almost filled up, but I just primed the filter and realised I wanted to pimp it out a bit. And I've put in some of the Crystal Max. Should it go in the bottom, Matt? What's the layerage of this stuff? Because people always tell me I'm doing it wrong.
This has got a pre-filter on it, so in theory the bottom's fine.
Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, I've got Crystal Max at the bottom from Superfish, and then I've got Superfish Crystal Clear. This stuff has been working so well when I've been putting it inside of filters. It's zeolite and activated carbon. Obviously, activated carbon, people saying, oh, you shouldn't put it in because of, like, it pulls out nutrients from, like, fertilisers and things, but I've not really found that to be the case, personally. What do you think, Matt?
It does. It's one of those things. It does pull it out a little bit, but not to the extent you're going to need to worry about.
Okay, cool. So
yeah.
I was kind of right.
Yeah, I think if
everyone was right.
Yeah, it's one of those things. And again, if you want your water to be crystal clear, then you've got to use something like that. If you don't mind a little bit of a tinge or something like that, then don't. It's just, yeah, it works well if you use it, but you don't necessarily need to.
I find that people say if you use activated carbon, you need to keep replenishing it. Yep. But I just use this for start up because that's what I've been told by several people now that know way more than me.
Yeah.
For instance, Jeff Sensky, he learned that from a Mano who said, chuck it right in to start with, and once it runs out, it becomes biological media anyway.
Yeah, that's it. And people say that it then leaches back into the water, but it's only going to be leaching nutrients that, in theory, if you've got a fully planted tank, will then be using up again. So, yeah, I don't think there's any right way or wrong way. Just if it works for you, it works.
Yes, and it's going to look beautiful.
Yes, it's going to look good.
Going to get this running. Okay, the filter is running. It's just a case now, sitting back and leaving it. See you in a few weeks when this is looking absolutely stunning. So it is now 2 weeks later, and as you can see, the tank has grown in crazy. Way, way better actually than I expected. Now we did add in a CO2 system because I had one available, and I just thought, why not? I mean, I'm pretty confident, well, I'm completely confident, that the plant still would have grown in really, really well, just not as fast. CO2 is like a turbo booster. I don't find it's necessary on my tanks, but if you do add it, really, really quick growth. Now, because I've not touched the tank at all, we've got some algae issues, which is to be expected. I wanted to just leave it and let it do its own thing, and then I can show you exactly the sort of thing that happens if you do leave your tank. The plant growth is insane, as you can see. It's just everywhere. We've got sort of diatom algae, you can see at the side. New tanks, they can really often get diatom algae. The good thing is it's so easy to get rid of. And there's this sort of string diatom algae you can see there just sort of attached to that rock. Again, so easily removed though. On the surface, there is a lot of sort of bio scum, shall we call it. It's a thick layer. Well, that's not too bad, I guess. I've seen it thicker, but yeah, we can, again, a quick water change will sort all of that. But before we do a water change, we want to clean up all the glass, brush off the rocks and things and get all those diatoms off. And probably give it a snip up as well. It's already due for a trimming. I'm going to trim down this front area so it's nice and flush. Let me show you the CO2 system actually first of all. We've got this spiral one here. This is all part of one kit that comes from the Colombo. So yeah, the pipe runs down here and into this cylinder, should we call it? Now this is one that's just DIY sort of style one. So you put in the two chemicals and it makes CO2. Now we set this up 2 weeks ago. It's starting to run low, but that's because we just turned it up. Like it's been up quite high continuously non-stop. There's no fish in the tanks. There was no problems of like CO2 poisoning, so we just went for it. But I think you can agree that is looking pretty amazing already. Let's get it tidied up. There we go, look, looking fantastic again. That took like 15 minutes, real time probably. So nice and simple. That's the good thing about diatom algae. It does come up very, very easily. Although I did miss a tiny patch on that rock, but that's okay. And you know what? Now is going to be a really good time to add in some algae eaters. I'm going to go for a Mano shrimp. I just think they're going to sort of walk all over all these plants. They're not going to tear anything up. All they're going to do is pick gently at any diatoms or any future algae that gets there. It should keep it down to a minimum. And what's perfect is we can now utilise the fish wall. So in this tank here is loads and loads of Amanos. For that size tank, I'm probably only going to need about like five or six. They should do a great job of clearing everything in there. It's not overrun, is it? So they just keep on top of it. There we go, look. Nice little group of Amanos. I think there's about 8. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they can all just go straight in. All the temperatures are matching. So we're all good. If they want to, come on. All of you, please. And you. There we go. And I do want to add some floating plants as well, just to help with a bit of nutrient absorption. I've got some amazing looking Salvinia here. Just a couple of pieces because it grows very, very quick. Yeah, look at those. Look at how well they're sort of bunched up together. Look gorgeous. And then now we can wait about 2 more weeks. It doesn't have to be 2 weeks, but I'm going to wait 2 weeks till it's all fully grown into its final form. And we put some nice fish in there as well. It has now been another 2 weeks and the tank looks fantastic. There's a slight new diatom outbreak, and that's because the CO2 thing ran out, and every day I was like, oh yeah, I'll re sort of gas it, and then I kept forgetting. But it still looks amazing. Yeah, look at that. It's slightly blurred because, like I say, the side panels have got a little bit of diatom algae on. You can see just sort of creeping underneath the glossostigma there. But look at that. That is beautiful, right? Simple. We've got the reds popping through as well. It's pretty much ready for fish. Let me just clean up the glass and we can put some in. There we go, that is looking clean. I've turned off the CO2 so we don't get bubbles in the water. In fact, I'm just going to take that out. There we go, that's less distracting for our final shots. Oh look, there's one little lonely snail. Snails don't climb out your tank, guys. Well, very, very, very rarely do I find that. But that's looking beautiful, ready for some fish. And that's where you come into play.
All right.
So we have decided to go for the rice fish that we got in our shipment a few weeks back.
Yeah, a few weeks back now, isn't it?
Yeah, they are gorgeous. They've loads of them I've seen with eggs. Have you, Matt?
Yeah, they both colours have had eggs now. None of them have got eggs at the moment, I don't think. So I've been looking through the plants. I can't see any in the plants, but there's that big chunk of pearlweed. So once we get them out, we might get a few babies.
That's
coming.
what I was thinking. Yeah,
hopefully
they will eat their babies, won't they? Especially when there's that many in such a small tank.
Yeah, there is some little rainbows in there from previous as well that we've got to get out. So
oh yeah, yeah, we can put those.
I'll just pop them next door.
Next door or something like that. Yeah. Okay, catch them up and we can put them in.
Let's do that.
Here we go then. Here go the rice fish. Obviously we've got the orange and the white. There we go. Just a tiny little tank for these. This one didn't want to make it complicated, and with the density of planting, we might even see some babies survive in this one as well. It's possible, isn't it?
Yeah, fingers crossed. As long as the Amanos don't find them.
Oh yeah, because they are quite decent sized Amanos as well.
Well, it'll be all right.
Oh, you can really see the sort of glittering on them in here, can't you?
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's not ick, guys. They are. Look at that one right in the middle there. Yeah, look at that one just behind that limnophilia. Come out. There we go, look at that. Just covered in like sparkles. They're like diamond fish. Don't worry, they're not like starved of oxygen or anything. They're just doing that because we just put them in. Rice fish do tend to go to the surface a bit more, don't they?
They are a bit more of a surface dweller, yeah, absolutely.
Nice little addition to this tank. I think it looks beautiful, and it's not really the sort of tank you want to be adding cories in. I would say they're just going to destroy all of this at the front. I guess some guys that do like proper full-on aquascaped Dutch tanks would retrim this back now and push the shoots back in, keep a more compact look. But I quite like the sort of rawness of it all, to be honest. Again, you'd normally hack this back down, which I probably will do at some stage, but for the minute, I think that's sort of like a perfect look. Look at them all huddled back here. So rice fish were traditionally put in sort of small plant pots and things like that, and were bred for their view from top down. They're kind of like mini koi, I guess. But nowadays, we don't really look in tanks like this, do we? But there's one we could potentially do here, is a indoor rice fish pond if we get babies or order some different colour varieties.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, there's some nice black ones that I've seen recently. We had the black ones were meant to be on this delivery.
Oh, they just didn't come in.
So yeah, the blacks have got like black with sparkles, so they look really good.
We could do like a top-down view, giant terracotta pot indoor, you know, with like lilies growing at the top, maybe some echinodorus.
We'll find somewhere for it to put.
Yeah, we'll find it somewhere. There's
put
always
it on the
somewhere.
coffee table.
Yeah. So I'm absolutely loving this tank and project. Reason being is that I very, very rarely use the easy grow plants. I normally just opt for the potted plants because you get like taller stems to start with. But the problem is you get less stems. You do get a bit more bang for your buck initially, but if I can train myself to be a little bit more patient, it does mean I can end up with a tank full of gorgeous stems in really, let's be honest, no time at all. So the total time for the tank from start to finish was about 4 weeks, so we'll say 28 days. And like I say, the CO2 did speed everything up, but I've done several trimming sessions in that time as well. I've absolute confidence that you could do the same thing without the CO2. And I think I might do that actually for a future setup. Do something very similar in terms of a lot of the easy grow stems, same soil, same sub base, and no CO2, and just see how we get on. I'm confident it will just take off just as good. I think the time frame will be a little bit longer to get it looking how it is now, because that's just obvious, isn't it? CO2 is turbocharging. Now bear in mind we've got a really nice light on here, not high budget or anything like that. It's the Scaper light from Superfish, one of my absolute favourite lights for any size aquarium, to be honest. I always get amazing growth with any plants underneath it, and the reds always seem to pop great as well. But I do thoroughly recommend that you invest in that CO2 system. Like I say, you can just get the ingredients delivered to your door and just refresh it whenever you need to. It also looks really good and high end as well. Anyway, that's it for this one. I hope you've enjoyed the build and it's inspired you a little bit, and I'll see you guys on the next one.